Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to a new video. My name is Evelyn Barta, and those of you that are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. Those of you that have been already here, welcome back. Today I am back with a new channeled message, and this time from the Pleiadians, and I did ask them about the new earth phenomena and how this shifting to the new earth will look like. Many of us are wondering about the event, how it will happen. I think I talked about that in my last full moon video, so I will link it there if you haven't watched that, or in the description box below. And even though I'm trying to get as much information from the Galactic Federation and the Pleiadians as well about the event, because so many of us are very curious. And last time they were telling us to let go of these expectations and worrying, because everything is happening really for our evolution and the outcome is assured. I still do have a lot of questions about this new earth phenomena, and questions like, are we going to be transitioning as a collective into the new earth? So from the third dimensional consciousness into the fifth dimensional consciousness altogether, and those that don't match those high vibrational frequencies will be leaving their bodies. And this is something that I was told, that there will be like a natural selection of frequencies, and those souls that are not matching those frequencies will be leaving their bodies willingly, and they will find other planets that are more suitable for them, for their evolution. Or they will be kind of like a hologram of this old earth, so there will be a parallel universe, parallel reality with this new earth frequency, the fifth dimensional earth, and we will transition into that new frequency and dimension. So these kind of questions. And yeah, I was asking the Pleiadians yesterday about this as well, so they gave me some information which I'm going to be sharing with you, of course, as usual. But these questions started to arise in me because of a certain book that I got last year, and for some reason I did not finish it. Now it does make sense why I didn't finish it. Everything happens for a reason. I didn't finish it because it would have biased probably the information that I got from my channelings from the Galactic Federation and the Pleiadians as well about this whole process. So now it was the time for me to finish that book. I kind of read half of it, but then the last part of it, which is about the new earth, I did not finish. So I did finish it yesterday actually. And the book is called The Three Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth from Dolores Cannon. Well, I bet everyone in the spiritual community has already heard about Dolores Cannon, but if you haven't, she was an amazing, incredible hypnotherapist that had thousands of hypnotherapy sessions with clients that revealed information from their subconscious, from their higher selves. And she has developed this technique called QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, which many therapists are still using to get information from the higher self as well. So it's an amazing technique for healing the body as well. It includes past life regression as well. So everything that the higher self considers to be the most beneficial for the individual. So she gathered a lot of information from these sessions from people's higher selves, and there were lots of entities as well, like extraterrestrial entities that came through her sessions and delivered information about these times basically that we are going through, the collapse of the old system, the collapse of the structures, the new earth. Things are so accelerated, things are so intense, and things are happening faster than we can imagine. So it's incredible what is going on right now. Many things are going on below the surface that we are not aware of, but I can assure you that things are super accelerated. So anyways, one of her books is this one, The Three Waves of Volunteers, and she had like 17 books, and many of them were published after her death in 2014, if I remember well. She passed away that year. And the book is about those three waves of volunteers that came to Earth to be of service for humanity at this time when this shift is happening, because it's an amazing opportunity for a soul to evolve in such process where a planet is transitioning from one dimensional consciousness to the other dimensional consciousness. She's actually saying in the book that it has never happened in the universe for a planet to be shifting from one dimension to the other dimension. I don't know if I can 100% resonate with that. I believe that we are living in an infinite universe and there are multiverses, so the possibility for us to be the only ones that are transitioning, I would say that is very small. But regardless, being here at this time when this shift is happening, it is a unique opportunity, and we all have to honor this experience. So I was really fascinated by things that she was saying in the book, and I want to talk about it a little bit in today's video. And it actually confirmed lots of things that the Galactic Federation was telling me already in previous channelings, and the Pleiadians as well. So everything happens for a reason. As I said, the fact that I did not finish this book before getting that information from extraterrestrials makes a lot of sense. If you are watching this video, you're 100% part of those 3 waves of volunteers that she's talking about. And many of us came from higher dimensions, actually. Many of us are wanderers. We sacrificed, kind of lowered our vibration in order to be born in this physical body and to help humanity to ascend. She's talking about that as well in this book. She's also saying, and the clients and the information that came through the sessions, that this is the time when our DNAs and the knowledge that we have brought with us is being brought to the surface by this DNA activation. So it's not even an upgrade of DNA, or we can call it an upgrade, but it's more like an activation of that already existing knowledge that is within us. And we have a lot of help with that upgrade. And actually the activation is coming from those high vibrational energies that the planet is being hit with. So she is talking about that as well, and that's an amazing confirmation for me, because this is exactly the information that I got from the Galactic Federation in my channelings. And because in my previous video I was talking about the millennial generation and the previous generations, Generation X and the baby boomers, that definitely translates to these 3 waves of volunteers that Dolores is talking about. And if you haven't watched my previous video where I talk about the millennials, then please do watch that video, because it will give you a better understanding of why we are not meant to fit into this system, because this is the way that we are changing this system. So I will link it there or in the description box. So we have these 3 waves of volunteers, and the first wave is those souls that were born after the Second World War, so after the dropping of the atomic bomb. And these people are now in their late 50s, early 70s. So the baby boomer generation, basically. And they didn't have a very easy time, because they were pioneers of this change. They don't even know how to handle their emotions, and many of those souls actually don't want to be here, and many of them already committed suicide because they just don't feel like this earth plane is a fit for them. They volunteered, but actually they had a very hard time in being here and transmuting the energies. And then there's the second wave of volunteers that came after them, people that are now in their late 20s and in their 40s as well. So I would say that Generation X and the millennial generation as well. So these souls have volunteered to help others. So they are like naturally helpers, healers, but they don't really like to be around people. They are very protective with their energies. They really like solitude, but actually by working from home and not liking to mix with others, they are defeating their own mission to help others, although they have a much easier time on Earth. And Dolores is saying that they don't really create karma as the previous generations did. But unlike the baby boomers, they don't really want to have children, because like they naturally know that having children is equal with creating karma, and they just want to do their job and they want to disappear from here. They don't want to come back. So typical millennial thinking. And then there's the third wave, that is the Gen Z, I would say, children that are in their early 20s right now. And these souls are much more evolved souls. They have very high vibrational frequency. They are purely here for the elevation of the frequency. They are coming from high dimensions, and actually many of them are having their first incarnation on this planet. Super sensitive. Many of them are coming directly from source. The current society doesn't really know how to categorize them because they are so different. So many of them are actually diagnosed with ADHD and other diseases. Of course, we know that the more evolved you are, the more ahead of your game you are, the weirder you are being considered, and the more they need to suppress you and stop you from your mission. So we are unstoppable, and that's why we are here. And then, of course, there is the fourth wave as well, which Dolores is not talking about, but children that are being born now and in the past 5 years, they are even more evolved souls and pure souls that have no karma whatsoever, but they are here purely for that mission of elevation. So I made a few notes for myself from the book, and I want to talk about a few things that I think are very fascinating and important at this time, and they are talking about the exact times that we are living right now. So some of the entities that came through these sessions are talking about a time where people will be running around in confusion because their illusions about their reality is being shattered. And this will happen on a global level. And of course, these are the times when we are living that. that people are so confused about their reality because their reality is dissipating, is vanishing. And therefore, the structures as well are collapsing, and the authorities and the government are losing power because of that. And they are actually saying that many things that will be occurring, even natural catastrophes, will act as a catalyst to bring fear out so it can be dealt with. So whatever event is being orchestrated now by the authorities, it will act as a tool for awakening. It will act as a catalyst. So no matter how hard they are pushing for things, it will be for the benefit of humanity. It will be happening for us. So there's no way that they can stop this awakening process. And they are confirming that as well, these entities in the book. They say that the authorities and those that are in power are aware of the changes and they refuse to accept it. They maintained power by fear, but that is dissipating now. And many things that are occurring right now are cleansing this fear. As it continues, this process, it will liberate more and more. So there's no way back actually, and they are just shooting themselves in the foot if they continue to do that. The more they are pushing for, the more fear is going to be liberated. So it's a win-win for us. That's why I'm saying, guys, just hang in there because things will gonna get clear. But we have to be patient for the next 2 years, let's say. And even next year will be a different energy. They are also talking about the fact that the authorities will be not done. And I translated it to these times. We think that they are pushing for so many things, but this is not enough for them. This is not enough to create fear. So they will continue to do that. And what they are saying actually is that they will push things so much to the edge until things will get very, very difficult for everyone. So they can say that the government was the one who helped you in that situation. They want you to be relying on them. They want you to think that they are your saviors. Especially those people that are not prepared for this will have a very, very difficult time. So if you are building your future on the old system that is collapsing and the old structures that are collapsing, stop doing that because that's not going to be sustainable. You have to build things on your creativity, on your passion. That is the future. That is the age of Aquarius, where people have the power, where people can finally express who they truly are. That is something that is sustainable. Your passion is what will provide you with a platform that can allow you to flourish in any situation, not climbing the corporate ladder. The corporate ladder that you are climbing is collapsing now. It's not sustainable. It's not going to be there. Your passion is going to be there. And we have to be very, very honest with ourselves about our mission, what we really want to do. They are stating it very clearly in this book as well, that the old structures are colliding or breaking down, and the safety net that many people thought that they were part of is also collapsing. They also say that many people will be leaving their jobs, they will be leaving their religious beliefs and their paychecks. So our idea about what safety has to look like needs to be questioned, needs to be rethought, because whatever we think that the safety net is not sustainable. And I just heard recently that only in August, more than 4 million people left their jobs in the US. People are leaving their jobs because they feel like they are being part of a system that is enslaving them. They realize that what they thought that it was safety is just an illusion. It's never been there. And the more people are leaving their jobs, the more the economy is going to be affected. So whatever is happening right now is just the beginning of this big reset. And I want to be very, very optimistic and very, very positive in terms of what is coming. And I want everyone to be like that because we know that the outcome is assured, it's happening for us. However, I want to be very honest. Things are not going to be easy in the next few years, in the next few months in terms of the economy. There will be turmoils and upheavals. And they are saying as well that there will be a chaos which will be actually the breaking down of the old belief system. And that will be super challenging in terms of people's sense of safety. And these entities are encouraging the light workers and the volunteers to keep our energy very grounded for those that are in the midst of chaos and they are about to awaken. So basically, we are not here to awaken those that are in this very low vibration, in their negativity. They have many, many lifetimes and many, many karmas that they need to work out. And we cannot really help them with that, but we can help the energy grid of the planet to be elevated if we just keep our energy very grounded. So basically, we are here for those souls that are in the midst of this awakening process. and they are confused, and we can provide them with knowledge and with a sense of safety just by keeping our vibration as high as possible. And those that cannot hold this high vibrational frequency will be placed in appropriate space for the vibration that they are emitting. So they will be placed on other planets, on other dimensions as well, where the vibrations are optimal for their evolution. We don't need to look back and to think about those that we are leaving behind. We have to be here for ourselves. And what was also fascinating in this book is that at some point Dolores is asking these entities about what are those fear-mongering tactics that those in power are using. And they say that one of these tactics will be diseases that will be blown out of proportion, and they are not epidemics as they are being portrayed. And actually we will get to a point, the point that we are at right now, when we can neutralize any disease and we can transmute the energies of disease. And as we move higher and higher in our levels of consciousness, these diseases will be disappearing completely. These entities are also talking about the media and movies that are trying to portray certain problems as huge problems, when in reality they are only imaginary problems, for example terrorism or diseases. And these problems are being created to convince you that the governments will solve your problems. And the way to survive and to overcome these problems is by separation. So they do their best to convince people not to unify, but exactly these tactics are going to be the catalysts for a big awakening and a big shift. So I want to talk about the new earth as well, as these entities are describing in the book. In one of the hypnosis sessions, one of the clients has described the place that was kind of like an overlay of the third dimensional earth. So there was like a fifth dimensional earth on top of the third dimensional reality. So two realities on top of each other. So they were a group of people there, like a small tribe that was living in that fifth dimensional reality, when in parallel to that, the third dimensional earth was still existent. And she described this as an experiment that they did in order to test out if that is possible. So actually they were an ancient Indian tribe that has volunteered for this mission to check out if this is possible. They were almost like pioneers and forerunners that were showing the way to those that came after them, the volunteers that are currently on Earth. So we can do the same when this shift is happening. And that is actually explaining why certain Indian tribes have just disappeared without any sign, why certain groups of people have disappeared as well, why the Maya civilization has disappeared without any sign. And it's also explaining what the Mandela Effect is about. Because what actually happened with this tribe that this woman was describing in her hypnosis, they went to that overlay from the third dimensional plane to the fifth dimensional plane. They have experienced this shift and they realized that it's possible. But then they have heard a call from Earth that the planet is really in trouble and they are being needed here. So they came back. So what if this is exactly what happened with the Mandela Effect as well, with Nelson Mandela, who has transitioned to another timeline, to an overlay, a parallel dimension basically. But for some reason he had to come back to complete his mission and to change the course of the events on planet Earth, because he was contributing big time in our awakening as well. He has received the Nobel Prize. So by him coming back, we have been taken to another timeline where this mission has been completed. However, his death has still remained in the collective consciousness, in the collective memory. It was overwritten, but it was still there. And this is what happened to me as well, which I described in one of my videos where I talk about also the Mandela Effect, where something weird has happened, that a piece of my recording has disappeared and then it came back. And then just made me realize how powerful the human mind is. That we can not only change the future with our thoughts, but we can change the past as well, because time is non-linear. We can change the course of the events completely. And when the past is changing, the memory of the past is still remained in our consciousness and in our collective memory. And that is absolutely fascinating. And there are so many examples of this Mandela Effect. People just disappearing without any sign. And the fact that the Mayas have disappeared as well, it explains why their calendar stopped at 2012. It stopped because they assumed that when this shift is occurring in 2012, humanity will do the exact same thing. We will transition into an overlay or parallel dimension or another reality, whatever we call it. But actually we didn't. Perhaps some of us did, but the majority of us still remained on the third dimensional Earth, which is not really third dimensional after 2012. And the big question is, are we going to need our bodies when this transition happens? And I think the answer is yes and no. I think this transition is not going to happen all of a sudden. It's going to have different phases, and we slowly are adapting to this shift. Our nervous system is adapting, and I really want to talk about that part as well, the ascension symptoms, but in another video, because otherwise this is going to be too long. But one thing I can assure you about, and that is that aging is not going to be a problem any longer. Our lifespan is going to be extended. So if you are worrying about running out of time and not being able to complete certain things physically because of age, don't worry about that. Our bodies are changing. Our cellular structure is changing as well constantly. We are adapting to these changes, but we just have to leave behind those old belief systems about age and everything that we knew about that. And we have to adopt this new paradigm, and that will affect also our bodies. And the other question which I asked the Pleiadians about is how this split between the old and the new Earth will happen. Are we going to transition into a parallel timeline, a parallel reality, leaving behind the old Earth and the old reality? Or are we going all together into the same direction, and those that are not matching these frequencies are going to disappear? So I'm going to read the information that I received from the Pleiadians last night. Some of the concepts were quite abstract, but I do hope that they will make sense. So I will get into a bit of an explanation afterwards. So this channel message is from the 25th of October 2021 from the Pleiadians, and they said, "There are times of your existence that are equal to the times of the humankind, where the mirroring and judgment of your species was subject to the conscious mind, and we are assisting in the recognition of this. We have been around since the times of Lemuria, and we have been observing your behaviors that changed over time as the crucial alterations have happened in your DNA structures and physical bodies. We are incredibly appreciative to observe that your race is reaching a level that will be beneficial to those that are also volunteered to this mission to elevate the consciousness of the Earth and to keep the gateway open to the fifth dimensional frequency. This frequency is hitting your planet, and it is positively altering the subconscious programming and beliefs that have been causing confusion on the Earth plane for thousands of years. When this shift occurs, you will be all equipped with the relevant vibrational frequencies that will assist in this dimensional change that is occurring faster than the original calculations were anticipating. The Schumann resonance is reaching a level of activity in frequencies that are necessary for the evolution of this vibrational shift and for the activation of the right brain." And then I was asking them, how will the split happen between the old and the new Earth? And they said, there will be signs of the activation, and you will be all finding yourselves in situations that are no longer causing discomfort, that are no longer testing your frequencies, but are allowing you to have the experience of elevation to higher realms and higher frequencies. This will be activating your physical and mental capabilities to the degree that is necessary for the planet. The change will occur at a pace that will be the most comfortable for all of you based on your consciousness levels, and which will be the most optimal for your bodies to adapt to. This will allow your mental frequency to be matched with the frequency of the planet. And then I was asking, will we all go to the same direction as a planet? Or there will be a split between people, between the dimensions, so on, and the Earth. And they said, there will be a split in consciousness and in the level of vibration that will result in a change in perception. It will all happen according to the frequency shift. There will be a split, and there will not be a split, and that will be subject to your perception. Your mental levels will make adaptations to the level of awareness. The vibration will reach a frequency level that will cause a split in the matter, and the vibrational difference between the states of matter. The elevation will happen nonetheless, and it will be a natural process, resulting in a natural manifestation of the energy. This is all we can say in this regard, and we will be back with more information. We consider this information to be sufficient for now for the comprehension of this process. Please stay in the love and light frequency of the one infinite creator. Peace with you all. So that was the message from the Pleiadians, and I think what they are actually saying about this split, there will be and there will not be, is that everything is a subject to our perception, and it will happen according to our consciousness level, according to our awareness. And because everyone's awareness is vibrating and everyone's consciousness is vibrating on a different frequency, they will experience this reality according to that frequency, basically. And what is described in one of the sessions in this book, one of the hypnosis sessions, is that you can think about this split between the new and the old earth as people falling away from your reality. People just falling away from your life because there's no longer a frequency match between you and them. And this is happening quite rapidly, and it's happening already, that people are just disappearing from our lives, and you will no longer feel like you want those people to be part of your reality. Many families are breaking apart. Many couples are breaking up. Friendships are being broken up as well, because there's a difference in between those frequencies. And we have arrived to crossroads where we can choose to go this way or that way, and some people are choosing to go that way and to remain in the old frequency. There's a lot of positivity that already started last year due to this pandemic, and I feel like this distancing was one of those signs. The split between the old version of Earth and the new one, and the split between these different frequencies. And yes, there will be a split in the matter as well, and there will be a natural process resulting in a natural manifestation of energy, as the Pleiadians are describing. So probably there will be a split, a physical split between the two versions of the Earth. But there will be also a split between different frequencies and different dimensions. As a result, it will happen in a pace that is the most optimal for our physical bodies to adapt to, and for our level of consciousness. So it will be all happening naturally. And we will just wake up one day and realize that those problems that have existed in the past are no longer problems for us. And I think that many of us can already feel that. And one of the things which I thought it was fascinating, that one of those entities was saying, is that if you appeared in your vibrational frequency that you have right now to a person from the 1800s. So if a person from the 1800s visited you right now, right here, you would be glowing to that person physically because of the vibrational frequency that you are emitting, because you are vibrating to a much faster frequency compared to how they were vibrating back then. So you understand how much humanity has evolved in terms of our frequency. And I think that's absolutely fascinating, because that explains why in biblical times those entities, like for example Jesus and the Christ, and why those extraterrestrials that came in times of Atlantis and after that as well to teach humanity appeared as shiny and glowy to those people that had a lower vibrational frequency. I'm so excited about this new earth, and however it will happen, it will happen. It will be subject to our perception, and our evolution is happening faster than even the Pleiadians could anticipate. It's incredible how intense this whole thing is right now. And there's a big show happening, and then planet Earth is the main character right now in the universe. So everyone is watching us. This is what Dolores Cannon is saying. So thank you everyone for watching. If you could resonate with this message and you haven't subscribed yet, then you can feel free to do that. You can also share this message with people that can resonate. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And then also hit the notification bell after you subscribe, because I'm uploading every single week. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for your support. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Kisses to you all.